It's the most wonderful time of the year. I can't
Jingle
sing.
bells, jingle bells, jingle bells, jingle all the way.
Oh, it is the most
Oh,
wonderful
what
time of the
fun.
year. It is Yarn Advent. It's so exciting. We're here. It's December.
December 2nd.
Can you believe it?
Second. Yeah,
I
but we've
know.
been waiting for this all year.
I
Since
know.
last year, we've been waiting for this year.
I
And
know.
I've been opening my little advents. I'm just so excited.
Well, let's get this party started.
Okay. And I said, you have just made my day. Happy December. It is December the 2nd, and we are so excited to be with you again. I hope you have got your knitting project and a cup of something great to drink today. And well, let me tell you who I am. I'm Susie, and I live in Huntsville, Alabama, and it is cold here. It is
Is
cold.
it?
It's feeling like December. Yeah, I mean we're dipping down into the 30s at night, and so anyway, but we're glad you're here because we want you to think of us as your virtual knitting circle where that we knit together, crochet together, talk about life stuff, talk about kitchen stuff, kids stuff, grandkids stuff. We're just glad you're here, and we got a lot of fun things to talk about today. Don't we, Linda?
Yes, we do. I'm Linda, and we just kind of think of this group as kind of therapy. If you're coming here to learn how to knit, this is not your group. But if
Oh,
you're
no, it's
looking to
not.
just hang out and listen to something while you knit or crochet, this is your group.
We
So
will
anyway,
entertain you while
yeah.
you do your
Well,
knitting and crocheting.
yeah, because when we get together with our yarn circles, that we talk about all kinds of things, and then we throw in that knitting here and there. Because
Exactly.
by the time we show what we're doing and whatever, and sometimes ask questions like, "How do you do this or that?" We're done, and then we're on to the life. So,
Yep.
speaking of life, how was your Thanksgiving?
It was great. All my kids were here. My kids are scattered. I've got one that lives in Wilmington, North Carolina, our youngest, uh, and our oldest and his wife live Tebow. We've talked about Tebow on here already, but he and his wife live in Phoenix, Arizona. And then our daughter Mary
Mm.
Catherine and her husband and their three little girls live in Mississippi, but it's right at the line of crossing over into Louisiana. So they're scattered. So when they all get home, it's wonderful. And those of you that had family to come home, especially if you're a mom, I think the most wonderful thing about all your kids coming home is because when you're a parent, you're always a parent. Doesn't matter what age your kids are. And when they all Luke got in, I woke up about 4 o'clock in the morning on Easter. What? Easter?
Tired, apparently.
Yes, my house has been crazy. But on Thanksgiving morning, about 4 o'clock in the morning, Luke had slipped in about 2:30 that morning, and I was trying to stay awake to hear him come in, and I didn't hear him, and I just startled, woke up at 4 o'clock in the morning, and I went to where his room was, and I could see the light coming through the door, and he had laid down and was so tired he had fallen asleep with the light on, so I turned it off, and when I walked
Aw,
out, I thought, they're all here. They're all
they're
here.
all
And what
here.
a wonderful feeling because, that used to be the norm when they were little and they were
Oh,
growing up.
yeah.
They were all there. And now, in fact, somebody asked me one time, what is the hardest thing about being a parent? And I mean, it's letting go. That's the
Well,
hardest thing,
it's
letting
it's
go.
and having them close. It's like, I think we've talked about this before, but life just seems to get busier and people are
Mhm.
like, well, because you're older and, no, it's really because they're all scattered.
Yeah.
And so instead of seeing your children in your living room, you have to go to their house or they have to come to yours. And, we
Mhm.
just have to go many different places. So it just, yeah, it's weird.
It's
So,
it's it's really different, but it was the most wonderful feeling having them all in the same place and that it was at home, that they were home.
yeah,
But
that's
it was a
awesome.
wonderful Thanksgiving. We
Yeah.
had lots of fun, ate way too much food. I cooked
Oh, I
like a
know.
crazy woman, but it
I
was
know.
great.
I
I
know.
love Thanksgiving. I love
I know.
Thanksgiving. In fact, I still have my Thanksgiving tree up. Maybe the next podcast, it will be Christmas. I just haven't had a chance to change it out,
Oh,
but
I know.
I
I
love it. I
know.
love fall and love Thanksgiving, but I'm looking forward to Christmas, especially Advent. Been waiting for it
Oh,
all year.
I know. And I hear you had a bit of a surprise. Share your surprise.
Oh, yes, yes. Our daughter that already has
It's
three beautiful
exciting.
girls. In fact, they got their red hats at Thanksgiving. We'll have to throw a picture up of them in their red hats because we've been
Yes.
talking about those red hats. But they they've got three little girls, and a few weeks ago we found out that number four, little girl number four, is on the way. Yep. And
Ooh.
so we were very, very excited about that.
Yeah.
I just really thought that when I held Maddox, who is number three, that would be the last little baby I would hold for Mary Catherine.
Yeah.
And so it's exciting. So I get to go through that again, look at baby
Yeah.
clothes, knit things for a
Oh,
baby. So I'm excited.
yeah. Oh, that's good. That's good. And everything's going well with the baby and the
Well,
pregnancy.
actually, I don't think Catherine would mind me saying this, but Mary Catherine is
If,
37
if
years
she does,
old.
we'll cut it out.
I know. Well, okay. So if it's still here, it was okay. But Mary Catherine is 37. And of course, this was quite a surprise, that a fourth one was coming, and they were all close in age. But I think we mentioned on one of our very first episodes that we did how that when we met because we were doing education on hormone balance, and we learned so much, and we taught so many women about how their bodies work. And
Right.
it's very unfortunate that most women don't know about the cycling of the hormones and how their bodies work. And one of the things that I learned during that decade of education was that most first trimester miscarriages are solely due to the body, not the ovaries, not producing enough progesterone.
Right.
And when that level lowers in a regular monthly cycle for a woman, it's the signal for the lining to release. Therefore, we have, the monthly, can I say period on here?
Yes.
All women is like, what can I say?
We all have them, had them,
We all
whatever.
have them or had them.
Gone over.
But, so most women that miscarry in that first trimester are miscarrying because of low progesterone levels.
Right.
And if they just knew to get some transdermal progesterone,
Right.
and I still use it. I use
Oh,
it
yeah. For our
25 the
bones.
first 25 days of the month for
Yep.
my bones,
Bones.
for many things, because
Right.
it's our progestation hormone, but it's our beauty hormone too. And
I
most
know.
women don't
Yeah.
know that it helps our skin
Mhm.
to stay young and supple, and it helps supple. Did I say that right?
Yeah.
Supple.
I think so.
Um,
Sounded
I
good to
say,
me.
I say so many words wrong. My southern accent. But anyway, it helps our skin, our hair. It helps us to sleep. It helps our thought process. It
Right.
tells our body to burn fat for energy. And the older we get, we lose this hormone because we're not ovulating every month. But back to Mary Catherine, she began to do some spotting. And so she called me, and I gave her a little schedule to do. She already had the progesterone cream that she was already rubbing. She knew to do that in the first trimester to help her ovaries.
Yeah.
But it seemed like that what she normally did in the first trimester wasn't working. And so when she called me, I gave her a schedule to do, and she used that schedule every 4 hours. The schedule was to use the progesterone cream every 4 hours until the bleeding stopped.
Right.
Well, by the next day, she was not having any more spotting. But when she would pull back off of it, the spotting would start again. And so
really?
it was really bothering her. And I said, well, honey, I said, evidently your ovaries are not producing enough progesterone to tell that lining to stay in place. So as the levels are lowering, what's happening is it's signaling that lining to release. So she's doing the container that she has is a metered pump, and it pumps a metered amount. And she's doing 6 pumps a day, 2 in the morning, 2 in the afternoon, and 2 in the evening. But it's what's keeping the spotting from not happening. And we were talking, and the only known side effect of progesterone is it can make you tired and drowsy. And so a lot of times,
which is really a bummer when you have 3 children.
Exactly. And so she was struggling over Thanksgiving because she was so extremely tired. It was making her very tired. But anytime she would pull back from it, the spotting would start again. And she told me, she said, Mama, did you ever think all those years ago when you were educating women on how their bodies work and about hormone balance and the importance of progesterone, that you literally would be help to save a grandchild in the womb? And I said, man, no, I didn't think about that. I mean, it's really, it makes me a little emotional because,
I know. Isn't it awesome?
when we would educate those women about their bodies, I remember that women would come up to me at the end of my classes with tears in their eyes and say, why has no one told me this stuff? I don't understand why. I mean, it's out there. It's out there for the knowledge and for knowing, and it's just as simple as learning how your body works. And
I know, it's so
but
crazy.
my daughter and your daughter, Sarah, both Sarah and Mary Catherine were growing up. They were, junior high teenagers, and they were hearing all this information, and it has truly affected how that Mary Catherine has made decisions as far as her female health.
Oh, yeah. And when my daughter had her first baby, I told her husband, I said, listen, if she starts to get dark, because Sarah's very perky and positive. If she starts getting dark, you call me, because she won't know. I mean, she's in that place of, postpartum or something. And I said, you call me, and I've got a cream. And by the way, we are not doctors. We just play them on TV. Only kidding. No, we don't even do that. We're educators.
We're educators, but we know how a woman's body is supposed to work.
Right. Yes, and we used to educate doctors, so we're educators, not doctors. But I told them, call me and we'll just, slap it on. But I remember one woman, she had a daughter who had horrible PMS, and she literally would sneak in there in the night and put it on her arms while she slept. And
no matter who puts it on, the receptors recognize it, they grab it, and they use it as if they released it. It's so amazing.
Yeah, it is amazing. Well, I'm so glad, and I was praying about it, of course, because that's scary and that's horrible to have to go through. So anyway, congratulations. You'll have to knit more hats.
I know. And when she got here, she was so worried about it. She made an appointment at, you can go to these ultrasound places now that when you get pregnant, you can go get sneak peeks and see the baby before the doctor even does your ultrasound. And so she made an appointment because she was still so worried, about the baby. It's like, Mama, I've just got to hear her heartbeat. I got to see her move. And so we did. We all went, and it was so fun because this is baby number 4, but this is the first time I've ever been with her to an ultrasound because she's always away, and it's not worked out that I could do that. So it was so wonderful seeing her, and they named her. Her name is Keaton, And so
Oh,
we were able to see little Keaton, and her heartbeat was strong, and she was just moving. Her little limbs were moving, her little arms and legs. And the ultrasound tech said, "This is a healthy baby. She looks strong and healthy. Her heartbeat is strong." And Mary Catherine, I mean, we were using the progesterone, and the spotting, the bleeding, is under control, and the baby is strong. And
good.
it made me feel so sad when I saw that, because when I thought about the fact that these women that miscarry in the first trimester because they don't know about progesterone, that they're
Yeah,
healthy, thriving little babies, but the body is not being told to hold
right.
on to the child.
Well, and usually a doctor won't even suggest like suppositories until they've had their third miscarriage. And that's just
It's so
tragic. It's
sad. It's
well,
so
because
sad.
because it's like it takes them 3 pregnancies for them to see a pattern, but it's like, yeah, but
And
the great news,
there's nothing wrong with every woman being on progesterone supplementation for the first trimester. There's no,
no,
no, no.
not at
In
all.
fact, we learned years ago that it actually could help with better even brain development. I think if I'm remembering correctly, that there is
Mhm.
not, it is only positive for the baby. There's nothing wrong with doing extra progesterone. And
I
so
know.
I'm just so thankful, if for no other reason, well, 2 reasons, because I found you, and then the knowledge that we
Oh
have.
my
Yeah,
goodness. Oh my
it
goodness.
was it was
Wasn't
a
that
great time in
something?
life, but I'm so thankful for all the knowledge that we learned. And I have
I
helped
know.
hundreds and hundreds and
I
hundreds and
know.
hundreds of women. And even though I'm not officially an educator in that area anymore, it
You
I
don't
talk
forget.
about it all the time. I talk about
Oh,
it
I
all
do
the time
too.
because
I do
every
too.
woman's story is the same. It's the
Well, it's
same.
kind of interesting because in like 2004, 5, and 6, it was a really big topic. And actually, Suzanne Summers and Dr.
Mhm.
Phil's wife were the 2 people that were talking about natural progesterone. Um, and then it kind of well, that was because of the synthetic hormones were giving so much breast
Yes.
cancer, and so everybody was curious
Prempro
about it.
was a real back then. Prempro was a real big hormone replacement
Right,
therapy,
and
and they were finding
Premarin and all that, and
Premarin
then
and
it
all.
kind of fell by the wayside. I don't know, it's kind of was a thing, and now it's back again because I follow, I think her name is Dr. Conley on Instagram, and she's like talking about all the stuff we used to talk about. It's wild, and I feel slightly vindicated because of course back
Oh, I know.
then
Well,
we were
we were
we
crazy.
were weird.
No,
We were
yeah,
weird. Everybody, and we're so off topic, but this is okay. But everybody was so trained to go pharmaceutical, pharmaceutical, a pill. But then people, of course, over time could see how bad that was for them. So anyway, and then those who wanted some help naturally, and when we say naturally, this isn't like little creams to treat symptoms. This is a progesterone cream that the body thinks it made itself. It's bioidentical. So
exactly.
and the drug companies don't deal with it because they can't patent it. They cannot patent the natural molecule. So they leave it alone, and it's just over there for you to buy off the counter, which is wonderful.
I
Um,
order mine on
but
Amazon. I have
exactly.
them.
Well, we'll
I
leave a
have
link in case
Yeah,
anybody's
we'll do
interested.
that because, and it's a
Yeah.
good one, and I have it set up
Oh,
delivered to
yeah.
me every other month. But and it's
Well,
cheap.
yeah, I
It's
remember, but even back then, they said only 6 companies actually made them, and they just would label them differently, private label for different companies. So it's probably the same company that we used to get it from.
could be.
Looks like the same
It could
container
be.
anyway.
You know
So,
what? One of the
oh,
interesting things that uh, we learned so much, but one of the things that really stood out to me was, and this was back in 2002, 3, 4, and 5, and at that time, the statistics was over 650,000 hysterectomies were given yearly to women. And the only real reason for a woman to ever have a hysterectomy is cancer. And only about
Right.
5% at that time would have fallen into that category. They were being given hysterectomies for all kinds of reasons: fibroid tumors, endometriosis, cyst. It was
It's so
just
awful.
crazy, and all of that is symptoms of hormone imbalance. But the other thing that I learned in relationship to that, in the physician's desk reference, did you know that a hysterectomy is listed as female castration?
Yes.
Female
Yes.
castration. And when I would talk to women that were getting ready to have hysterectomies for reasons other than cancer, I would say, look, you go back to your doctor. Is he male? Is he a male doctor? And they would say, yeah. I said, ask him
Yeah.
if he had hormone
Yeah.
imbalance, would he allow himself to be castrated to take care of that?
I mean, that
Women,
would,
they just
I
didn't realize that.
know.
And here's the other thing. I know we are so off topic, but maybe
It's okay.
the
This
other
is
thing
girl
was,
talk. This is what we
that's
do.
exactly right. The other thing that I learned is that when a woman loses her uterus after menopause, the uterus produces a hormone. It's been so long since I've talked about this. I hope I'm telling it right. But there is a hormone that the uterus produces called prostacyclin, and its only known purpose is to protect arteries from heart disease in the heart.
Yeah.
And wouldn't it be interesting to find out how many women that have heart
Mm.
disease do not have a uterus? And there is a purpose for that uterus after menopause. And
Yeah.
so it's just, there's so much information out there. Read, girls, go read. Find out about your bodies and how your bodies work, because not only can you help yourself, but you can help the women in your life. It's so important to know how our bodies work.
I know.
And
for
because
sure.
of that, little Keaton is going to be okay.
Well,
That's what we're
isn't that
believing and
awesome?
praying for, that she is going to be just fine.
Well, praise God. Yay. I know. It's wonderful. Oh my goodness. Well, there's your girl talk for the day.
Maybe we should go back to Advents.
I know. Well, so let's jump into Advent. First of all, of course, it's already the 2nd. By the time this gets out, it'll probably be the 5th. So you'll be 5 days in. And of course, we've opened our Advent sets, and I've been watching, and I discovered another Advent Vlogmas that I need to share with you. And actually, Christina shared it on Chelsea Yarns. It's nice. I don't know if you caught it, but it's something by the sea or the shore.
Yes.
I forgot her name, but I quick followed her on Instagram too.
Is it Sandy by the Lakeside? I think
the lakes. I see it was water.
I have watched her for the last 3 years, and I do enjoy it.
You have?
Yes,
Oh,
I've watched her and Chelsea Yarn.
Sandy by the Lakeside. Sorry,
Sandy by the Lakeside. And little Nitty Natty. I watch her. She's so cute. And then there's one more that I have watched real regular. My brain's
Is
gone
it the
blank.
gal that lives in Germany?
Yes.
Is it the one who lives?
Sweet Skein of Mine. I think it's called Sweet Skein of Mine. But those are the 4 that I have over the last 3 years watched the most. There's so many now. There's so many.
I watch more knitting shows during December than I do the rest of the year, totally, because I have to knit. I've got to keep up with my daily skein. And so I will, find time, of course, in the morning, but then I try to find time even in the afternoon to have my coffee. And then I knit. So I get to see more shows. And so let's first talk about our Advents from last year. Do you want to go first? What did you knit? First? Why are you laughing?
Because I really think that I have a problem about completing projects.
Oh, you have bad.
Well, first of all, I do not like all the finishing. I don't like doing the ends in. I don't like blocking.
Oh, mine's gonna be a weaver.
But I think what I love about knitting is the pattern, finding my pattern that I'm dreaming about knitting, and then finding the
Right.
most delicious yarn that I can find to knit it in,
Right.
and going and shopping for it and touching it and getting it home. And I even love winding. Winding is therapeutic to me, is winding my
Mm.
yarn and then getting it on my needles and seeing it start to progress and to grow. And it's like I get almost to the finish line, I lay down and go to sleep on that project. And I'm thinking, why do I do that? So anyway, this is a monster. This was my Advent last year, and this was Chelsea Yarn's Advent. And so there were 25 minis, and she had a full skein that went with that, but it didn't go with what I wanted to do with this. I did the anthology. Oh, I don't know if I'm saying that right. We'll put it up. You can put it up.
Anthology. Yeah.
Anthology. The habitation was the same person that did this one. Hold on a minute. I know I took a picture of it. Okay. So there it is.
Anthology. Okay.
Anthology.
Gotcha.
There we go. So this is the
All right.
monster.
All right. So same. So
and
Helen
it's
is. Mm-hmm.
And it's a circle. And so what I did is when I did all 25 skeins. So here's the 25. So I'm just going to pull it up. These are the 20.
Obviously you start in the middle.
You start in the middle.
I'm
going
your
the
first
other
skein. Wow.
Yes.
Okay.
So here is the middle of the shawl. So as I drop it, you're seeing all the colors of the Advent.
Wow.
And so what I did is when I got to the very last, which is the final little part of the shawl, I got a full hank, and I'm actually doing this pattern until that full hank is gone. And look, this is all I have to do. I've done a
to
full
kind of trim it out.
To trim it out. And this color, I don't know if you can see it, but it has so many of the colors, very subtle.
Yeah.
And and look at this.
I like it.
That's all I have left to knit. And this would be finished. It's going to be a monster of a blanket. It's almost going to be like a blanket shawl because it's just huge. I mean, look at this. It's going to be huge. Can you imagine that blocked out?
How are you good? Oh, I know how you block it. I saw somebody, they folded it in half and they blocked it like a big taco shell.
Oh, really? Well, I have a room in my house. I'm probably putting it on the floor and block it.
Are you going to use like your steam iron then? Because how will you pin that in your?
I have a lot of blocking mats, so I'll just put the blocking mats down, and so it's just, look at this, and it's all crinkled up on my needles, so it's just going to be huge.
It's beautiful.
But it was a beautiful pattern. I loved doing it, and it was so mindless. It was easy. It was easy knitting. I
don't know. I saw those stitch markers. How mindless was it, really?
Well, the last row I had to do this because if you've got a little bit of lace knitting in here, and you don't want to forget those yarn overs. And so I did that so I can just quickly count to make sure I hadn't done that.
Right.
But that was my Advent from last year. And so my Advent for this year, I'm going to do crocheting instead of knitting for my Advent this year. And the one that I'm going to do, I'm sorry, I'm going to have to look here. It's called the Yorkshire blanket. However, and I can show a little picture. You can put a bit better one up, but this is the Yorkshire blanket. And so there are 12 square patterns, and you knit each one twice, which would take up for 24 minis. And each square will use almost the mini 20-gram hank from your Advent. But I had decided that I am only going to do one of the squares, and I'm going to do it 24 times and then put it together, because Advent knitting for me, I don't want it to be complicated. I don't want to have to be really following a
Mm-hmm.
pattern. So
Mm-hmm.
once I
Right.
knit that one square a couple of times, I'll have it down and I won't have to look at a pattern. And that is the goal. And so the one that I have chosen to do, because it looked like one of the more simple ones, this
That's
is
pretty.
that
That's
is the
pretty.
square that I'm going to do. And I've started it with day one. So here is day one of the Advent. So here you go. I have
Aww.
I've got it started. And
Wow.
and it really, because you know that crocheting's a yarn hog anyway. And so here's how much yarn is left of that day one. And so I'm going to
Whose
make.
Advent set are you doing?
Okay, so
Yarn.
the Advent set that I'm doing is called, here it is right here. It's Emma's Yarn.
Aw.
And Emma's Yarn is the yarn that I used for the red hats that I did for the girls.
Oh.
And I love her yarn. And so, with this particular, the Yorkshire blanket, you're going to use your 24 minis to make your 24 squares. And if you do, I don't crochet a lot. And so following the crochet pattern is a little bit more difficult for me than following the knitting pattern. But what's neat about
Right.
this Advent is there is video for every one of the squares that she is literally crocheting
that's
the
nice.
square, showing you what to do. And
I
then
love
you
that.
have it's truly a wonderful, wonderful pattern. And you can choose 4 of the squares to do. You could do, 8, or do all 12
Right.
of them. If you do all 12, then you'll knit each one 2 times. But I'm really being lazy about it. I've chosen
Okay.
one that I'm going to knit 24 times. But you have to get a neutral or something that is going to connect all the squares.
Excuse me.
And so when I was visiting in North Carolina, there is it's called the Salty Sheep Yarn Shop, and the owner there, her name is
Salty
Peggy.
sheep.
And
That's cute.
Salty Sheep. And I went in and met Peggy, and in fact, this is when I got this one. She says, Susie, I have one of the Emma, because I was talking about how much I loved the Emma's yarn. She said, I have one Advent left, and I could not leave that store without getting it. It has ended up
My.
going to use. And so then I picked out, this is denim, and it's finger and weight, and it's Emma's yarn.
That's a good choice. I was just going to say, how would you know? But denim is denim.
Yeah, it just goes. And so this is going to be isn't that pretty? This is going to be my connecting yarn for all of the Advents. So this was day one, and then day two. Let me show you what day two looks like. So here is day two, and this is beautiful. Look at this with this connecting yarn that I'm going to do. Isn't that beautiful?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So I think, and once I learn this one pattern, and there you go, it's next to it. I'll just crochet it over and over, and it's so fast. Crocheting is fast to me.
It is.
And so I'm hoping I'll be able to keep up with this one and get this one finished and not add number 4 to the unfinished Advent.
Oh my goodness. Well, I'm already behind because I'm not done with yesterday's.
Oh, I'm behind too.
And I'll have to, but I'm not going to stress out about it. But it is neat because even if you stay a little bit on schedule, you're really close to having a project done in 3 weeks. I mean, it's crazy.
And even if
it goes in a month.
And even if it goes over into January or February, I mean, the winter months are such a cozy time to do any type of needlework, whether it be, knitting, crocheting, cross stitch. But I got to show you my other Advent. Well, actually, I have 3 more. So Homespun House, I have done her several years, and this is the way her Advent came. And
wow.
Day one, here is day one.
Oh,
isn't that pretty?
That is pretty.
I love the way she dyes. and she lives over in Germany. And then day 2, where is day 2?
That's like an actual little advent, like what they put candies in. That's cute.
Yeah, that's what the way this one is done. And then this is day 2. And this is a really pretty like lavender. Isn't that pretty?
It is. My phone is dinging. It's very pretty.
And then this one just arrived today. This one right here. And I had another one that just arrived today. So they have arrived on the 2nd of December.
Oh my goodness.
This is the 12 days of Christmas. So I'm not going to start this until the 26th and do it during Epiphany season. But it's called the 2024 Gnomes for the Holiday Box, Yarn and Treasures brought to you by Speckled Finch Studios. And I do their yarn club of the month, Speckled Finch Studios. I have loved doing their yarn club. And this is their little, it's a gnome box. Isn't that darling?
Oh my goodness.
And
It's so cute.
12 days of Christmas. And this is the way it's boxed up. So you have all these little treasures, and you've got the yarn in there for the gnomes, and then you've got a pattern that they will suggest for you to do.
Have you done hers before? Her advent before?
This is the first time that I've done an advent, but I've done the yarn club. So I get a hank of yarn, finger weight, variegated yarn each month from her. And then the other thing I did is I did the 2024 Advent by the Cozy Knitter. And so, we're late enough to the month that everybody's opened this stuff. So this ain't going to be a yarn spoiler, but this is her sock set. She always puts out a Christmas sock set. And of course you have the 2 50-gram hanks that match, and it's going to stripe identical. And then the little minis. There's enough here probably for a cuff, heel, and toe. So this, I got this. And then this is Chelsea Yarns. And this is her box right here. And
did you see that sweater she knit to go with her theme? I think she knit it. I'm sure she did.
She knit that, but it was cute. Okay. I don't think she knit
the horse on the back, and
I think she just found that.
Oh, it was cute though. She's in theme of the Wild West, or
So that's all my advents.
Oh, your advents.
Wonder how long it's going to take me to knit all those.
Oh my goodness.
I'll start.
Well, now I'm sorry. What were you going to say?
I was just going to say I'll start them, but who knows when I'll finish.
Are you really going to start them all?
No, I'm not going to start all of them. I know I'm going to focus on the Emma's yarn and the Yorkshire blanket. That's what I'm going to be doing for Advent.
Yeah.
I'm excited. I really think I can do it. I think I can finish it.
I think you can. I know I was considering doing a crochet project, but I haven't crocheted in probably 2 years, and it just seemed like, I don't know, my hands just weren't there. But the weird thing also is I crochet with my left hand because my husband's mother, who was left-handed, taught me to crochet. So I still crochet.
You hold the needle in your left hand?
I do. Really? Yeah, I do. But I want to change, and I want to learn with my right hand because directions, patterns are all, you wouldn't think it'd be hard to transpose them, but they are. It's hard. Especially
did you know this Yorkshire blanket has pattern for regular and left-handed? It's got instructions for both. I thought that was really neat.
Really? Mm-hmm. I think I've noticed in life, there's a lot more left-handed males than there are females, but they're out there, obviously. So, but I like that I can do it. I think it's kind of cool. Small things thrill me, but
it ought to be easy enough for you to switch that, Linda, because with knitting, you're using both hands anyway.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you hold the yarn in the right or the left hand.
Yeah.
I think if
So
you knit, you have to be a little bit, what is it? And
ambidextrous. My husband is.
ambidextrous.
He's left-handed and he's ambidextrous. So, but this, I did the habitation throw, and
Yes.
I am embarrassed to say I did finish it on time, but I didn't block it till a month ago.
Well, you shouldn't be embarrassed. I mean,
So
I'm the one that should
I
be
love this
embarrassed.
so much. This was really a beautiful pattern, and she did the most beautiful fades. And
Oh,
when
that
you
is
look at it,
beautiful.
here, it looks like the beach to me. It's like the
It
sand.
does.
It should
Going
really
into
be,
the
yeah,
water.
the sand into the dark, dark, deep waters.
Oh, that is
And so
beautiful.
it turned out really, really pretty. So,
And the habitation throw, that is a beautiful pattern for
well,
adding
and
it.
it got so much bigger. I mean, I didn't even stretch it that much, but it really got big. But she does, I just knew the name. I just lost it, but I mentioned it last time. Anyway, she does beautiful fades. I mean, they faded, and I like fades. I like that
Mhm.
kind of non striking change. So
Well,
I did the habitation.
when it's a fade, it you don't look at it and see like lots of colors. Like when the colors are different, it almost gives a stripy feel, whereas
Yeah,
that
it's
really
just
doesn't.
very, but this is a DK weight, and for where I live, it's a perfect weight for a blanket,
Oh
really.
yeah.
It's we don't really need heavy, heavy blankets, and I have a fireplace anyway, so I stay warm and put that. So this year I'm going to do the Advent calendar shawl, and I'm going to show a bigger picture. But it's,
I
you see, this
like
is all
that.
backwards, this one.
Yeah.
And it was really cute. It's got the little pom-poms on it, which will make it look a little less like a blanket, I figure. But living in the South, shawls are perfect because we don't
They
really
are.
need coats very often.
Mhm.
And just to put something on, and just even going to the grocery store, it's cold in the produce department,
Oh
so I
yeah.
like my little shawls. And I actually took my current Advent out. I love it so much. I'm so happy. Thank you for suggesting this one. I put it in a big old basket.
Oh, that looks
Um,
nice.
but so this is from Leap of Faith Yarns, and so each of the days is going to be a flower or plant. So in the garden. So this is the main. Oops. So in my Advent shawl, it's got the full skein that will separate each day's colors, and that's going to actually be a light color, which tells me that they're all going to probably be kind of darker. And so this light one is supposed to
Is
be the
that
plant
that's
that,
is that day one that you're doing right there?
no, no, this is the full, and this is day one.
That's day one, right?
Yeah, I'm going to put this down because it's really heavy. And day one was which flower? It was a oh uh, oh geez, how can I forget it? It's right here. What was the day one flower? Oh dear, I don't know. I forgot already what it was. But there's some little stitch markers in it. It was really pretty. But she has a little prayer
Hydrangeas
each
are that
day.
color. Was it a hydrangea?
No, it was flax. You know what? I don't know what it was. Just I thought, is that what color that flower is? Oh, this is dumb. Okay, it was flax. So it's a pretty almost
That's
periwinkle color.
beautiful. It is.
You
It
know,
looks periwinkle, which
yeah.
is one of your favorite colors. You love
So
periwinkle.
I know. And so you start out with that, with your stripe, your I call it your definition border, whatever color. And
Right.
then so this is my first day. I haven't even opened day 2 yet because I was busy this morning getting
Well,
ready.
open
But
it right now.
okay,
I want to see it.
if you insist. Here we go. Oh, that's heavy.
I'm wanting to know what day two looks like.
It is black cumin. Ooh, see,
Oh,
she's got a little
yeah.
picture of the ooh, look
Oh,
at
that
that.
I love
So,
that.
so they'll, when I'm done with this, it'll be about,
Yeah.
this wide, and then this will be next. But the neat thing about this pattern is there are 6 sections of 6 different stitches, and then you repeat. So the first section is the seed stitch. No, I'm sorry, the moss stitch. The second one is bamboo stitch. The third is the rice stitch. The fourth is a lace stitch pattern. The fifth is the broken seed stitch. And then the sixth one is, where's the sixth one? The diagonal open work stitch pattern. And then we'll repeat that, those 6 sections. So each of the sections is a little different. So that's kind of neat, but still easy. It's not a, heavy. Seed stitch is easy. You just do the opposite of what you're looking at, So, and it was really, really kind of funny because, my husband, I mean, he wasn't upset, of course, but he looked at all this yarn. He says, man, that looks like it's a lot of work. I said, oh, these girls, guys probably, they work really hard. He said, how much was that? And I went, oh. And then I confessed, and he said, oh, and he thought it was worth it. So that's good. But he could tell. I mean, they have to, dye it all. Then they have to all measure out all those little mini skeins. Then you've got the bagging of each day. And, like I said, she has there's a little card with a little prayer in each day. Oh, and so, see, like this, here it is. So it says there's a little Bible verse and a prayer in each day. So I really like that. So anyway, yeah. So that's what we're doing.
Tell us about what you're wearing. That the scarf that you.
Yes, this is my Thanksgiving scarf, and that was at Dream Ridges.
It looks beautiful with your shirt. I love it.
Well, the Dream Ridges. This is all backwards, you guys. This is why we do this, because what we see and what is opposite. It's very confusing. Anyway, so yeah, it's called the Dream. I just said it. Oh, goodness gracious. The Dream Ridges shawlette. And I did it out of a DK Malabringo. So, yeah. I got this.
Malabringo. It's a nice yarn to knit with.
So this was from the Myrtle Beach yarn shop. I think it's called the Myrtle Beach yarn shop. I'm not really sure. Yeah. Anyway, so when we were there in September, I got it for kind of a fall knit. So, yeah. It's fun. I actually really like these. I do like necklaces, but there's a lot of metals that bother me. So I don't really like them on my neck. I like these on my neck. And I'm really embarrassed to say, because, I am a process knitter. I just like the process of knitting. I've made beautiful things, and I really never wore them. And now I wear them all the time. I especially wear them to Bible study on Wednesday. And they're warm and they're cozy and they're like necklaces, I like them. I like them. And I also like that if you have one skein, you can make something out of them. Yeah. And I have a lot of one skein. I have a lot of them.
You can go into Ravelry and just put in an advanced search, put in your yardage and your weight, and you can just find such beautiful things to do with just one hank of yarn. It's really
I have lots of them, and I'm going to get better about putting them together and making something eventually, but at this point I have a lot of one skein items. So there's our Advent. And I was just thinking about, for people maybe who never got an Advent, you could kind of create your own little Advent out of scraps. They're really kind of scrappy knits, Advents are, because the skeins are just so small. And for people who just have a lot of scraps, you could kind of do your own little Advent and just make something to remember Christmas. So the Christmas season. And it's just like a nice time to slow down when we're so busy. You just kind of slow down and knit.
Yeah.
And breathe. So, yeah.
It's a lot of fun. If you ever join and do an Advent, you won't. I mean, I can't even imagine a holiday season without them.
I know. And we order them in April and May. So I just get so excited.
I know.
And it's crazy. But so we are going to try to do better about recording. We have always said, though, that, just like a real yarn circle, we get together as often as we can, but life gets busy and these seasons are busy. I would imagine in January things will probably slow down some, but so hopefully we can come back next week. We're going to try.
Yes.
And we're going to talk about Susie's big sale that she was at, her sale.
Whoa, that was so much fun. Yeah, I want to share all the goodies that I got. And also I went to, since our last episode, I went to a Fiber Fest outside of Birmingham, Alabama. And that was a fun day. I went with two friends that
Yeah.
I knitted with for years. And so the three of us were there, and I got some really neat things there too that we can talk about.
So let's talk about that next week, and they'll probably be a little shorter because we're going to do them a little bit more often. We're already into an hour here, so, we're going to call it. But we'll have, we'll talk about that next week, which will be really, really good. And let's share our favorite cookie recipe because it is cookie time.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah. Like if you have a family favorite or something that you learned from your mom, let's share a cookie recipe.
Okay. I will do that.
Good?
I have one little thing that I want to share that I got at the Salty Sheep. This is one little
I love
thing.
the name. What
The
is
Salty Sheep Yarn Shop in Swansboro, North Carolina. I could not leave that yarn shop without getting this. They are Christmas knitting needles by Addie. They're green. They're metal. They look.
That's awesome.
I could not leave
Well,
there.
how did you decide what size? I suppose for your advent.
Well, I
crocheting.
didn't bring this. She had this mini set that was called Holly Jolly, and it had beautiful Christmas colors of the mini set. And there's a cow that you knit with those minis. And then she was selling these needles, and you needed a size 6. But then I went back and got an 8 too. I was doing. So I bought 2 of these, but it's just a seasonal thing that Addie did. And I just love them. And they're the sharps, the lace tips.
Yeah.
And so I got these at that yarn shop. So just wanted to show that. I thought there was a neat thing that Addie
and you
did.
know what? This is just like our real conversations. We can't ever get off the phone. What are you wearing?
What am I wearing? You know what? I knitted this.
It looks cozy.
Well, let me tell you about this. My birth father had a stroke back in 2012, and it was a severe one. He was put in a nursing home, and so I thought that I would knit something that could go over his lap that would be cozy. And I bought the yarn from Hobby Lobby. It was a wool acrylic blend, but this is primarily a seed stitch. It's a seed stitch project, but it has the cable that runs down.
Oh, wow. It's a big cable.
Yeah. And this actually, you know how when you go into a hotel room now or a motel room, how that they
the end of the bed
they have the little cloth at the end of the bed. Well, this pattern is actually can be used for that too, but it also can be used as a wrap. And let me show you.
Very nice. It looks very warm and cozy.
Yeah, it's called the River of Dreams. But what I did to be faster at this, I cut out the border. I don't know if you can see. There was a border on
I do see it. Beautiful. That's beautiful.
And so I just cut out this, these little things.
So how did you hold those cables? Did you put them on a double point needle? They're so big, the cables.
It's been so long since I did it, Linda. I don't remember.
I
I
mean,
don't
a
remember
holder
what.
wouldn't even hold them, but you could almost put on double point, they'd slide off. Yeah, I wonder. Because I do
I don't
cables without
remember
even
how,
using holders on small things,
but it's
It's
really pretty. I
gorgeous.
mean, just to even knit this, and it used
It's
a
nice.
bulky weight yarn, and the pattern called for, and again, it's called this is called River of Dreams is the name of the
Oh,
pattern,
it's
but
nice.
it calls for size 15 to knit on the size 15 needle, and I think I probably took it down to a 13, but it knit up really fast. I mean, if you
Oh,
needed
I bet.
something, but this is beautiful laying at the end of the bed. I actually put it at the end of his bed at his house when I finished it. Took pictures
Oh,
of it there. Might be able to find that picture and we can share it. But and then after he passed, he and my mom separated and divorced when I was 5, and Mama remarried, and who she remarried is who I call my daddy, and he adopted us. There was 3 of us children, but
mm-hmm.
when Edward passed away, I got this back, and my mama wanted it, and so my mom,
That's
up until
nice.
she passed away in 2019, she kept this on the back of her chair, and it wrapped herself in it. So when I wrap it
Oh,
around me, I really think of my mom,
oh,
and the time that and all the time spent knitting it, for Edward after he had that stroke. So anyway, a special, it'll be good for casket showing one day. If you don't know what that
oh my
is, you need to go
gosh.
back and watch our last episode about casket knitting.
Oh my
This will
goodness.
drape
Oh my.
over a casket really nice.
So here's the thing about the casket knitting. I can see this giant, like, remember in the old time movies they had the bargain basement sales and everybody's fighting? There's gonna
Yes.
be a fight over your casket for all your
Well,
stuff.
Mary Catherine says you're not doing it, but
Oh,
they may
she's
want
gonna.
to do it. They may want, when they see all
Oh,
of it's going to be there, they're going to want to drape that
well,
cast.
probably not with 4 granddaughters. They'll
Oh,
probably, and
Lord.
your kids, and they'll probably divvy it up. But even
Yeah.
so, oh my goodness, that's funny. Well, I guess we can just kind of go now. We can really do
Yeah.
it, huh? It's always hard
We
to
can
say
do it.
goodbye, but we'll
It
be
is.
back next week, God willing.
Yeah. And you know
God
what? We
willing.
really want to give something away in the month of December, but we're waiting for our
Yes,
subscribers to
we are
hit
so close.
100.
I think we're like 4 more. We need 4 more to get 100. And
Really?
it is a big landmark. We are
That
a
is a
brand
big
new,
landmark.
a brand new
Yeah.
brand new channel. We've only done, well, now this is our 5th episode. So when we get to our 100, we have a special prize that we are going to give away. And I have an idea how to do that also. So anyway.
Okay, good.
And so anyway, don't forget to subscribe and like, please.
And comment.
Oh, and make a comment. Yeah, say hello. Just say hi. Yeah. So if you're knitting in Advent, share that with us. And anyway, well, thanks for spending time with us, and you guys have a good week. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Sure. Probably screwed it up. No, I didn't. Okay, good. Ready, Freddie?
I'm ready. I don't really know what I'm doing. So, you know what the most exciting thing to me about
What?
knitting is finding the pattern, getting the yarn, starting to knit it, and then I get bored with it. See, that's why I've got 3.
I want you to say that somewhere in here.
I got 3 unfinished advents, and I was starting number 4, and I have 4 this year. It's like, what's wrong with me?
Well,
It's like,
yeah,
I mean,
that's
I'm
like a whole
sure.
nother sport. Knitting is one of the hobbies, and the other hobby is, this is why people have multiple.
Look at this. This is a monster. This is a monster of an Advent. Look at this.
Okay, well, let's not talk about it now. Let's talk. Wait,
I know, but look, that's all I got left to do. And I quit. I just quit. Hey. Let me start that again. Oh, this is so much harder than it looks.
Once you get started, it's
okay.
like taking the first step.